Hi and welcome to my beautiful office. 3 weeks ago I was contacted via email by a company asking me whether I'd be interested in checking out one of their products. They're a company called Osee who make field monitors, so on-camera monitors, and also production monitors and a few other things. They gave me a link so that I could see that they were a legitimate company. I checked them out and thought, okay, let's test out one of their monitors. So I replied with yes. They replied with thank you. We'd like you to test out our updated version from the T5, which is a 5.5 inch monitor. So the upgrade to that, the T5 Plus. So it's turned up on my doorstep. We're going to test it out soon. But I thought it's a budget model. So let's not go into this with any preconceived ideas about being a budget model. I'm not going to watch any videos on YouTube or any related stuff about this. I want to go in with my eyes wide open. So I just wanted to explore it all by myself. Now this company aren't paying me to make this video. They've simply asked me, would I like to test it out? So I'm assuming I'm keeping this. I've had no demands on me at all. They've sent it out with nothing. They asked whether it had turned up and I've replied, yes, it's turned up and I'm doing the testing now. And their reply was, we look forward to your review. So I'm going to give you my 100% honest opinion on this. They haven't asked me to, be nice and make it look good. But I wouldn't do that anyway. My reply, if they'd have said that, would have been, no, I want to do an honest review. So let's get out in the field, test it out, check it all out. I haven't even turned it on yet, so we'll work out all this stuff as we go along. I'm going to put the monitor through a very challenging test, and that is direct sunlight onto the monitor. Can't get much tougher than that. So reflections, I can see my reflection there. You'll probably see it. It's okay. It's not much different than my other monitor, which I will be referring to. Now, that's a much dearer monitor than this. It's touchscreen and has a lot of other things. So it's not a fair comparison to put them side by side. So I won't be doing that. It's simply, I'll just be relating to it every now and then. Okay. So reflections, pretty normal from what I've seen in other monitors as well. It's not horrible, it's okay, but we'll see when the monitor is turned on whether or not that reflection is going to be a problem. Let's do that now. Give me a second. Wait for it. I've also had to clean the screen. I had a lot of finger marks on it, so that's another test for it. Whether or not that's going to be an issue. I haven't cleaned it fantastically. Okay, we're up and running. I can see that pretty well. I can see my reflection a little bit. And also just on this side here, I'm getting like flashback from the sun because it hasn't been cleaned properly. This side seems to be the worst. It looks fantastic on this side. But just this little square here, I can't really see very well with that flash. It's annoying. Well, what if I go to the side? Yep, gone. Just slightly off to the side. I can't see that at all. Now, it's not as bright as my monitor. It's 2000 nits where this is 1000 nit, but I can see really well. I would like it a little brighter, but maybe that might be user error. I might have to go into the menu and just see whether I can brighten that up more. But at the minute, it's okay, but it would be nicer if it was just a little bit brighter. But this is the toughest conditions you could put on a monitor, that is for sure. All right, so we've had a look at that. We'll now flip the screen over. It's on its own mount that came with it, which has a hot shoe on it, which is fantastic. It just keeps everything nice and neat. Got my Sennheiser lavalier kit on the side here. Now this monitor does have rotating screens so we can flip it over. The only problem is when I do flip this over, the battery is pretty big. It's those big Sony ones. It just touches. But I can just get it to come over. So there you go. We are ready to jump around the front and test out whether or not I can see the monitor clearly enough to make sure that, you know, my colour isn't untucked and that I look presentable. And also eye detect is getting me, whether or not I can see that properly without putting my hand over my eyes to be able to see that. I shouldn't have to, because 1000 nits, it should be bright enough. But let's get into it. Let's go around and have a look. Right, looking back into the sun. So if I go back to 2 meters, I do have to put my hand over my eyes to see myself properly, but I can see it that I'm in the right position at least. I can't tell whether I've got my collar out, whether I'm presentable. Left my glasses on, so yeah, it's just a little bit dark for this sort of thing, but this isn't how we would film anyway. This is how we would film. We'd get over here away from the sun and just have it on a slight angle so I'm not looking directly into the sun. Let's move a little bit closer. Now, from 1 metre away, which is where I am now, I should be able to see whether eye detect's got me, or face detect at least. I'm struggling. My hand over. Now I can see it. Yeah, no worries. Eye detect's got me. Put my hand down a bit more. Face detect's got me. Yep. The last test is going to be playback in direct sunlight. How's that going to work for us? Okay, just standing off to the side again. That's looking pretty good. I can see very clear. Let's just make this go forward and see myself in the scene. If I come directly on, yeah, that grease mark's a little distracting. Come back over here, yeah, no worries. That looks pretty good. Give it thumbs up. 1000 nits is pretty good in these sort of challenging lighting conditions. So we're out at nesting box number 2, where I photograph and film the agile Antechinus and dusky Antechinus. Going into my nesting box, which is a stump that I've cleaned the top off and put a fiberglass lid on it, with my trail camera in there so I can see what's going on 24/7. Early morning, we are backlit, so we have the camera pointed into the sun, and at the minute the monitor is looking fantastic, very clear, and as far as reflections go behind me, because there is some reflective surfaces that the sun is going directly onto, they're not being an influence at all, only slightly see them, but yeah, it's not distracting me. And with the finger marks, I can't see any finger marks there at all, so they're not being a distraction or anything there. I can't see them. So it's holding up really well. And the reason why I've put it into this sort of conditions, I'm after a bit of footage of Mum, which is a dusky Antechinus that's taken up nesting box number 2. She's building a nest in there, and she'll be putting her young in there very soon. I want her to come up through that bark and going back up to the nesting site with steam coming off of it. So it's the morning and the sun's just hitting it, so there's a little bit coming from the back of it, but I want it coming from the side. So in another half an hour, hopefully, I can get that steam rising up and she turns up at the same time. So there you go, another great test to put this monitor through, and I'm giving it the thumbs up. Well, now that we've done all that tough testing of the monitor in harsh lighting conditions, let's talk about its functionality. It is not a touchscreen monitor. That means that it doesn't have a fan and it runs cool, and the battery life is going to be quite long. Now you can power this unit in 4 different ways. So you can plug it into a power adapter. You can power it with 2 different types of batteries. So I have the big Sony battery that I use a lot on my other monitor. And you can also use the Canon batteries. My favourite thing is USB-C connection on this side. That is a game changer. Makes a big difference. Means I don't have to use any battery at all. I just plug it in to what I already have attached onto the tripod when I'm filming wildlife, and that is a power bank. Power bank that I'm using right now lasts me 4 days of solid filming. It's just an awesome power bank. Has 3 points that I can connect into, so there's no problem with me using it for the camera and this at the same time. This doesn't draw a lot of power because it's not touchscreen, and it doesn't have a fan to keep it cool. It doesn't need one. So that's just awesome to have these options. Because it is not a touchscreen monitor, does that mean it's going to be a struggle navigating around, finding the tools that we need? Because we're filming wildlife, things happen really quickly, and we can't be mucking around missing things, trying to search for a waveform monitor or focus peaking or anything like that. With the monitor that I have, it is that because it's touchscreen. I can quickly navigate around, go back to watching out for my subject coming back very quickly. So what Osee have given us is 3 user menus that we can customize. So we click down, we get it up on the side here, little menu. We can delete or add on tools as we like. And once we've set them up to the way we like them, we come back out to this menu and highlight it so that we know that it's activated. So it has to turn green. Once we've done that, we move on to the next one. So like on my first one, I've got set up the waveform monitor in exactly the right position that I want it in. And if I don't want that on the screen, I click over to my next one, which is peaking. I want to use that, it's all there, ready for me to go. On the third one, I've got that clear. I don't have anything on there at the minute, but who knows in the future. If we want to check that our focus is spot on, we simply push the joystick up and keep tapping until we come to 4 times zoom. Now we can also push the joystick downwards to check on the brightness of the screen. I've got all this functionality there if I want it. Quickly and efficiently be able to have things come on when I need them or go away when I don't want them. So touchscreen hasn't been an issue. I've started to forget about it, even in the short time, very short time that I've had this monitor testing it out. The representation of the camera is almost identical in colour and everything. Really impressed with what I'm seeing with this monitor, with the functionality, with even with the fonts. They're easy to see, they're small on the side. And I'll just make a really good point about being able to see really well on this screen when I'm filming wildlife and I'm mucking around, checking out different settings, what they do, while I'm waiting for my subject to turn up yesterday. Because this only takes up a little bit of space and everything's spread out nicely and the fonts aren't covered with a backing or anything, a wide backing like this monitor does, I caught a glimpse of something moving at the corner of my eye on the side of the screen here. And that was a female agile antechinus climbing up a tree, going into a hollow. So I filmed it because I could see clearly. With that monitor, I probably would have missed out because it takes up half the screen when you go into the menus. So that was awesome. I didn't miss out on that, and it happened again a few minutes later as it came out. I caught a glimpse of it again, coming out of the hollow with a witchetty grub in its mouth. So I frantically, panicking, trying to capture that. And I stuffed up a little bit, but I got a little bit of footage. So that just impressed me so much that I could see what was going on, even though I am mucking around in the menu. let's talk about battery life. I set it beside me. I was mucking around on the computer with the Canon battery in it out of the Canon 5D Mark II. So it's an old battery. It only had 80% of battery life left. I thought we'd just see how it goes. And I was amazed. It went for an hour and 35 minutes before it failed. Well, it didn't fail, it was still going. The little battery icon that went red. So that obviously it was about to shut down. So that's awesome. Out of a battery that wasn't fully charged, it went for an hour and 35 minutes. So how long is this big Sony battery going to last? Now on my other monitor here, it's just under 2 hours. I would say this would go for nearly 4. That makes this monitor really fantastic for me on my DJI Rowan gimbal. It's hard to try and keep that as light as possible. You've got a monitor on there, you've got the big battery on, but it also has a power bank. So I don't need to use any battery at all. I can put another cable on if I need to. But the Canon batteries are so light, I think I'd stick to that. I'm not going to be filming for that long. So, awesome. Battery life. We can put that out of the picture. It's not an issue at all. Whichever battery or using a power bank you're going to use, we're covered for quite a long time. How much lag does the monitor have? Well, I'm happy to say this has hardly any. It's not really noticeable waving my hand in front of the screen. It seems to be pretty close to what's happening live, which is vital for filming wildlife. Because I have the monitor on the leg of the tripod, I'm not looking directly at my subject. I'll be moving the camera around as I'm looking at the monitor, because the idea of having a monitor is it's bigger than the screen on the back of the camera. So I'm fixated on the monitor, looking for my subject, getting it on, make sure it's all, you know, in focus, all those sort of things. So focusing on that, I can have a lot of confidence that it's in real time. This monitor does not record. It's a budget monitor. It's just for monitoring our subject. It does have an SD memory card slot, so we can apply firmware or LUTs. So our camera LUTs or LUTs that we've made up, we can apply them so we can get a good representation of what our footage is going to look like. So don't go thinking that you're going to be able to screen record or record straight off the camera. It doesn't have that capability. Well, we've come to the end of this review. I am super impressed with this monitor. And now I have a problem. I have 2 monitors to choose from. I think the way this is going to work for me, this is going to be awesome for on the Rowan, the DJI Rowan gimbal. It's going to work beautifully. It's also going to be an awesome hiking monitor. So if I'm going for an overnight hike, I can take this, not worry about those big Sony batteries, or even taking an extra Canon battery. I simply hook it on. We've got something running over my lens on the camera, a little gnat. I simply hook it into my power bank. It's lighter than my other monitor. Not by a lot, but it is lighter. So I just think this is going to be awesome for those sort of things. My monitor, seeing as how I bought it and paid a lot of money for it, that's going to be awesome for what we did before with that harsh testing with sunlight directly onto it and me looking at the monitor with sun directly in my eyes. It's 2000 nits, it just works better for that. So yeah, I'm going to be running from one to the other. They both have awesome uses. And this is my honest, I promise you, my honest opinion is it's a great little monitor at a reasonable price too, packed with features, and that USB-C connection going into a power bank, that is my favourite item on this. It just makes it much more useful for filming wildlife, on the go, hiking, all those sort of things. And that is my 100% honest opinion on this monitor. I may have forgotten about different bits and pieces, hopefully not. I've looked at my list, I can't see anything on there that I think I've missed. So I think we'll finish up here. I hope you enjoyed my review on the T5 Plus. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel and get more of this amazing stuff, click on my pretty little face just down there in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. Hit the little bell, you'll get notification whenever I do anything else. And if you want to go and have a look at all the other mad and crazy things I've been doing in the past, click on my icon right here at the end of this video, take it to my channel. I talk about photographing and filming in the forest and open forest environments. Whenever I buy or get given camera equipment or cameras, I give you reviews on them and give you my honest opinion on them. Like the Osmo action camera right here. That is the Osmo 4. I'll be talking about that in a future video. Whenever I go on adventures, I always take you with me. It's going to have a browse. There'll be something there of interest to you, I am sure. Now, always remember, if you don't do, you don't get. So get out there and start photographing, filming wildlife, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.